Live. Banner, boom. Let's throw that straight in the mix. Mike, that was lastminute.com.
Just plugging in.
It's sort of connected. I've got invaders. I am live. Okay. I haven't been on a call in about 3 weeks. Mike's been steering the ship, and apparently the family don't realise that it's happening. So should we talk property?
Nothing to see here.
Nothing is going on. Shona, how are you?
I'm good. I'm very excited.
Good. Big day tomorrow. The banner at the bottom here is obviously for you, which I'm super excited about. So how are you feeling? I know you were in the office today, getting the last bits and bobs out there. The Down the Lens video drops. Ready for the big launch tomorrow?
I am. I was a little apprehensive this morning, worrying that I didn't necessarily have everything ready, but we've worked hard and yeah, we are all set, and I'm very excited.
Awesome stuff. Let everyone know a little bit about you and what area you are launching as an avocado partner and part of the family. Let everyone know.
So I am launching Warfield and Binfield, so nice and local.
Yeah.
I've lived in the local area since 2014. I have 12-year-old twin boys, which is what brought us to the area. I've been an estate agent for over 20 years. Literally fell into it as a part-time role, leaving school, and I loved it. I'm passionate about it from day one. So yeah, thought I'd go it alone.
Well, people are going to get some experience then. 20 years, you know, that's as long as me, 2003. Yeah. So yeah, awesome. Looking forward to watching it unfold. If everyone want to follow, if people want to watch and follow it unfold on socials, then your page will be live tomorrow morning. They can probably check it out tonight, but there won't be much on it. So just make sure you kind of go into the search bar on the socials, look for Shona, Avocado, Warfield and Binfield, and it will pop up from there, and you can see what she's got to say on her first video premiere. Matt, do you remember your first time?
We always remember our first time, don't we?
We do. How was it having that camera shoved in your face?
It's uncomfortable, isn't it, Shona? But trust me, you will get used to it, and you won't be thinking about it in 6 months.
Mike, do you remember your first time?
I mean, this is phenomenally strange, isn't it? There's an undertone. Yeah, I mean, my first time was with you, Ian.
Live, I think, as well on social media.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, make of that what you will.
Yeah, absolutely.
Strangers of LinkedIn, Facebook and YouTube.
Well, there we go. It's all going on tomorrow. And we're going to get into the detail of... So for those that are joining, we're going to get into the detail of the property market because it is going on at the moment. There is lots of changes. We're bang slap in the middle of summer holidays. We've got a base rate that's gone up. We've got mortgage rates going down. We've got buy-to-let rates being massively dropped. Properties selling. We had a 90.2% sales rate in July as a group for properties that we listed versus property we sold. We looked at the data over the last 12 months. There is not a better agent in the south of England when it comes to getting a property sold than yours truly, Avocado Property, out of the top 20 agents. We're number one on the ratio. So it's all going on at the moment. I'm not here to plug us, but I would like to highlight, if you're not following me on TikTok and you want to see some hilarious comments, there has been some weird things going on this week. Standard eyebrow chatter, but also some very rogue insults. So feel free to go and search into TikTok Avocado Ian and see what's going on. If you want to defend me, defend me. If you like black t-shirts, get in there, get your comments in there, and I'll leave that to the imagination. So I just want to throw this out there because I got this just before we jumped on live, actually, from someone in the know, had it forwarded to them by a broker. Excuse me, shout out to Luke if you are watching. But this is quite a big statement, actually. 5-year money, as of today, has been dropped across 5 different lenders from 6.24% down to 5.39%. That's in the swap rate. So that's in the value of what banks are doing in the background. But this will come out in the wash in a very positive manner for people on their mortgage rates in coming weeks. So you heard it here first. I won't say that's a whole % drop, but it's not far off, right? So
0.85.
that's quite big news, Mike, isn't it? That's a fair old chunk.
Yeah, I think it's Halifax who are leading the charge as well, from what I've seen. So this isn't like some niche weirdo specialist lending that's going on. This is the top lend. I think Halifax are the biggest lenders in the UK. So if Halifax are doing it, it's going to create a price war, which is what everybody wants.
Yeah. Yeah. And we know if HSBC lead the charge, they do it on a small amount of products and then they pull it. But when you've got the likes of Nationwide and Halifax coming out and doing it in their manner, it normally paints a good picture. So my expectations are, and a lot of the people that we talk to, brokers, IFAs, and obviously various bank BDMs as well, is that we will now start to see rates marginally start to reduce, which is positive news. Not necessarily will the base rate stop and level out. It might still go up, but we're expecting to see mortgage rates reduce, which is great news. So coming back round to you, Matt, how is Wokingham? I mean, I've seen a lot of beat the portals. I've seen a lot of sales. I've seen a lot of exchanges, completions. So Wokingham must be popping at the moment.
Wokinham's a good place to be. Wokinham's good. And August, as we all know, is quite a month across the board, usually with holidays and families and this and that. But business is good. There are still buyers out there, which I feel like we're always saying on every one of these chats, but it remains to be true. And yeah, still listing stuff, still finding buyers for stuff. And I think the mortgage news we just talked about there is exactly what the market needs to give perhaps those nervous buyers the confidence to actually step back in the market and make the jump.
I agree. I think so. What's your expectations for the rest of the year, Shona? What are you thinking? I mean, you're working in Warfield and Binfield, where typically it's a very family-centric market. They've probably got big equity in their property. Are you expecting to see downsizers, upsizers, bit of everything? What's your kind of thoughts? And, you know, over the last couple of years that you've kind of seen things since COVID as a full-time agent, what's your expectations for the rest of this year?
I think that there's still a lot of movement to happen. I think that the rates coming down will help put people in a positive mindset that they are making the right decision. I think that there is still plenty of business to be done. There's still a lot of people wanting to either upsize, downsize, move across. There's even maybe people wanting to move in or out of the area. There's still, I noticed, a lot of people coming out of London still, because they're realising the equity they've got in what they have there and what they can actually get for their money just that little bit further out. And Warfield and Binfield offers quite a variety of properties, but also still good links. So I do still think there's still a lot of movement still to happen.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens after the summer holidays. Seasonally, I might have said this before, but if you're watching seasonally, the typical way the market works in England, January, loads of listings, February, a lot of listings as well. Buyers really come to the forefront towards the end of January through February and March. So we see a lot of properties come to the market across those 3 months. Then we see kind of Easter holidays, bank holidays in April and all that jazz. After that, you normally find September and October are 2 of the most hectic, busiest months for the industry. And then solicitors go bonkers at the end of November trying to get everyone moved for December, and we see all the completions happen. So I would expect we're seeing now the activity just starting to kick off that will then really go into September and October and will be quite busy. So as it says on the comments here, Matt, pop us a question and we will do our best to answer you. while we're live. So if you've got any questions, feel free to throw them in, and we would love to get them answered. We don't mind the questions. We'll take anything. We don't mind. Nothing is off limits when it comes to the live Q&A, 6 o'clock on Thursday. Not quite to the TikTok level, because, you know, this is a family show, but anything else will work. Mike, what's your thoughts? What are you expecting to see over the rest of the summer through into September and October?
Well, still confused if your T-shirt makes you honest or dishonest over here. I don't know. But coming from the head office, coming from the stats side of things, July, we had our busiest month for movers of the year. August, we've already got more movers booked in to move. I think we've got 24 families at exchanged at the moment. Well, 48 if you think about buyers and sellers at exchanged, ready to move during the rest of August. So we'll probably go way past 30 more in the next 18, 19 days, which is incredible. And as you say, the normal patterns being what they are, we'll see the same sort of movement through September and October as the market runs its way out. So it is still very, very busy. The mortgage rate changes just show the banks are pricing at what the banks need to price, regardless of interest rates, and taking their own way out of the media, way out of the Bank of England's reach. They're just running their own market as a competitive market. So from a next 6 months point of view, if we see that pattern continuing, we're back under 5%. And that means people are confidently buying with a bit of security, knowing that things aren't going to go absolutely mental.
Yeah. No, it's good. That's positive news. I've got we get a weekly update from my good friend Uncle Dave at AFP in Wokingham, and he said to me that lenders are still working hard to improve their lending criteria, effectively making it easier or increasing the barrier of entry for people. So they've increased their maximum age now to 75. People are obviously living longer. People have gone back to work that had retired. And last week, that lines them up with the likes of Nationwide, NatWest, Santander. And it's also going to help certain customers extend their term as well to reduce their monthly payments, to try and make it more affordable for people. More positive news as well, on another positive note, is that Newcastle Building Society has joined the lenders who can accept self-employed applicants, including limited company directors, with only 1 year's trading. So for the self-employed people out there, there's more lenders with just a year's worth of accounts becoming frequent for you to go to as well. So that's positive. Although these 5-year fixed deals have all dropped as of today, these are rates from yesterday. So I'll talk about the 2-year fixed. So best deal on the market for the 2-year fixed on a residential purchase, 5.8%. And then on the buy-to-lets, 4.99%. It's almost 1% cheaper to get a buy-to-let at the moment in comparison to a residential. That's also a little bit, I know we've seen it recently, but it's a little bit unusual across the last sort of 10 years, isn't it, Shona, to see buy-to-let rates cheaper than residential rates. It's hard for landlords at the moment to get into the market. A lot of them are selling, but that's a bit of good news. Maybe first-time buyers might think about becoming first-time investors, staying where they are for a year or two, capitalising on some of the deals that are out there, I would imagine. But it does seem like a dominant first-time buyers market still at the moment. Is that what you've seen for the last sort of year, Shona?
Oh, 100%. It, in all honesty, has amazed me at the budgets that they've got as well. But I suppose if you take into account COVID meant that a lot of people saved an awful lot of money, the deposit to mortgage ratio has gone up quite a lot for a lot of people. So even with the mortgage rates going up and up and up, it has still meant people were able to get onto the ladder.
Absolutely. You've got some love coming in from Neil here on your first live chat, giving you a little shout out. Matt, what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts working closely with your namesake Matt in Wokingham? What's the conversations that you guys are having with people in the living rooms at the moment with potential sellers for the next couple of months? What's the questions that you're being asked?
So the advice we give very much remains the same, regardless of kind of what the external world is doing. It's all about pricing for the market of tomorrow, as I say, thinking about the market we're going into and making sure the price is sensible and competitive, and trying to find a great buyer at a great price who can close the deal. We're running into a lot of chain complications, I would say. So always encouraging people to be mindful of that. I think it's a secondary thought to a lot of sellers. They think of the price first, and the chain is not really thought about, perhaps until it all falls apart. So definitely telling people to be mindful of getting into a long chain and the complications that comes with that.
Yeah, chains are a funny one. We actually did your podcast, didn't we, this afternoon, Shona, and I asked you a question on the podcast. I won't give the whole game away, but I did ask the question, what was your most memorable moment? And that very much involved, a chain that you were able to be a big supporter of. So what advice would you give to sellers if an estate agent is about to tie up an offer, but it's got a big chain? What things, I'm not saying don't go with the big chain, but what things should they look out for, and what's important when managing these big chains for sellers and buyers at the moment? I think you, Shona. I'm throwing that one at you.
Sorry. I think it's important to have as much information as you possibly can. It's all very well knowing the agents potentially involved, but getting as much detail as you can, because you need to get as much information out of as many different parties to ensure that the whole chain are working to the same information. You've got the same goals in mind, you've got the same, you're doing the same things at the same time, rather than having, say, your first time buyer at the bottom who's way behind your seller who's done 4 or so, and they know what they need to do. Like, just making sure that everybody's singing from the same hymn sheet, if you like, but managing to contact as many people as you can. You have to have the information as much as you can get.
Yeah, it's all about communication and all about that quality of information. If you've got good quality information, you can help make better informed decisions. So it all comes round to that. What about the rental market, Mike? Give us a little bit of an overlay on that. Is it still crazy difficult for tenants?
Yeah, launched 2 properties this afternoon, one in Maidenhead, one in Bracknell. And I think we've had about 40 inquiries come in the last 2 hours on them. So story tells the situation. Unfortunately, landlords feel like they're being forced to dispose of assets. It's crippling the market because not as many people are buying in as there are selling up, which is driving down supply. And demand is up because net migration's up into the UK, migration up into the southeast is up, job security's up, wages are up, people have more money to spend. So as a result, it's pushing prices out of control. Whatever we price something at, it tends to rent somewhere in the region of 12 or 13% higher than what we price it at. So it's not the agent overpricing and pushing a market up. We're pricing at a price that gets interest, and then tenants are over offering because they feel desperate in order to secure some accommodation for themselves.
It's crazy, isn't it? It is crazy, that rental market at the moment. It's just what is the answer to it? I mean, I've been really pushing, and I'm not saying I'm not the guy that's going to get the result here, but I really want to raise the awareness around this 3% stamp duty for additional properties. I just think there's a solution there. There's a lot of money with people. I know people have got this negative connotation around landlords, but it's counterproductive at the moment because they're making it so difficult for landlords. Landlords are exiting, which means there's much less property available, which means the demand that Mike is talking about there for tenants is too competitive. And as a result, we're seeing prices skyrocket in the rental market, which means people are unable to save money when they're renting because they can't afford it, because the rental prices have got out of control. And this is from HomeLet that just came out this month. And, you can see that's the average price across the UK. That would be a hard rent for a lot of people in the southeast, let alone when you take that as an average up north as well. 1.1% increase every month at the moment, and an annual increase of over 10%. And it's been over 10% now for the last 3 or 4 years, Mike, maybe further, I don't know, but a solid 10% every year for a long time now, right?
Yeah, since 2020 to 21. Yeah, so we're probably 3 years into this now. Yeah. It would, the normal average rent, it would have been normal to see 900-ish. And when I say normal, that's
pre-COVID sort of thing.
Yeah, with a 3 to 4% annual change.
Yeah.
And that, for my entire career, over 15 years, you would see a rough 4% annual change, like clockwork.
Well, there we go. That's what's going on with rental prices. So a little bit bonkers there. I'm going to throw this one at you, Matt, because Neil's asked a question on his experience at the moment. Seeing viewing numbers are a little bit lower, but properties are selling quickly for good prices. Are you kind of finding the same in Wokingham at the moment? If it's got the two-prong attack, good price, good marketing, does it go?
Yeah, absolutely. So experiencing exactly that same thing. So the viewing numbers are lower. There's no denying that. There are less people for every house viewing than there would have been 12 or 18 months ago. However, if you're out viewing a house now, it seems to me you're pretty serious about moving. So still good quality buyers looking at houses. And the prices are very much the same. I think there's been a slight drop, but nowhere near the price drops people were talking about 12 months ago. Still getting good prices, minor adjustments to take into account the increase in mortgage rates, but yeah, still selling quickly as long as it's priced right.
Are you accusing Charlie Lambdin of being wrong when house prices had already dropped 30%, Matt?
I think
Moving with Charlie, how could he be possibly wrong?
I think maybe if you talk about house prices dropping enough, maybe they will.
Clock's right twice a day. Okay.
Oh dear.
We're going to talk about media as well. And you've probably noticed this too, but I've seen lots of headlines saying not seen since 2008 or not seen since 2007. And it's such a clickbait title because statistically I can see it to be true, but we are not in the same place as 2008. So just as a message to anyone who's seeing headlines like that, disregard them.
Well, my favourite was mortgage rates at the highest they have been for 14 years, or they rise fastest for 14 years, which is obviously always going back to 2008-9. Today, obviously, mortgage rates have dropped 0.75%. I don't see mortgage rates drop at the fastest rate for 14 years because that's just not fun, is it? So,
I've seen a couple of good news stories actually in the news recently. Which we haven't seen for a while. Even Sky the other day painted a positive light on the fact that rates were dropping a little bit. I saw a couple of different news articles saying positive news. So but like you say, Matt, they're very manipulative with kind of their headline clickbait, which is a shame really. But I think the reason why people keep following us on socials, and I get some unbelievably positive feedback on Instagram and things like that from people, it's because we just keep giving the live information, like what we've just shared there with the swap rates. And I think that's some news that maybe is on Sky now with Halifax leading the show, like Mike said. It's just good to see. So questions then, listings. I'll come to you first, Shona, because I know you've got a couple bubbling to launch with, which is great news, and congratulations. So what's on the bubble listings wise that you can tell us about?
So I've got a lovely little ground floor 1-bedroom apartment, and I've got a 2-bedroom top floor apartment, and they are coincidentally both in Ferrard Corner. So Woodhurst Park, Warfield, lovely, only a few years old, both in good condition. They've both got the opportunity to purchase with shared ownership, which is obviously a great way to be able to get onto the ladder if you don't have that massive amount of deposit to work with. But yeah, they are coming soon.
What percentage can they buy? Is it 35 or 50?
It's from 30. So
30%.
interestingly, they do actually offer them up 30% to start with. So the 1-bedroom has already gone through and done 8 weeks at that level. The 2-bed still technically has to go through that. But once you've done your 8 weeks at 30%, you then have the ability to buy anywhere up to 100%.
And what would the 30% on the 1-bed be purchased at? Do you know the price off the top of your head for that?
30, it wasn't an awful lot. Sorry, I don't remember off the top of my head. No, it's going on to. Sorry.
I was going to say it's going to be, less than obviously 100 grand, isn't it?
Yeah.
So
yeah,
probably 80 grand or something like that. It's not bad, is it, really, when you think about it? And when you actually do the maths on the rent that you have to pay on the other side and the mortgage, with the rental issues that are out there at the moment for tenants, that we're talking about, the 40 inquiries that Mike's just had, with 20 of them being in Bracknell, you look at those tenants and think, can you put together 16, 17 grand and go and buy that 1-bed rather than renting, a 2-bed, for example, in Bracknell? That's your best option at the moment, I think, personally, with the way the rental prices are going at the moment. What is the Bracknell house? You're going to say a 3-bed terrace now, and it's nothing like it whatsoever, Mike.
We've got in Bracknell to rent a 2-bed in Broadlands Court, just off the Wokingham Road.
So that's a fair comparable then. Go from effectively Priestwood, jump over the other way, and you can get into Warfield with a new 2-bed and buy a percentage of it, rather than being in the cats and dogs bum fight that you're going to have there to rent that property there. Granted, the Broadlands Court will be absolutely huge in comparison, but weighing it up in condition and et cetera, it'd be interesting to see. What about you, Matt and Matt? That's just Matt today. What have you got? I see you've got the selfie stick out behind you, so you've been obviously teeing up for something there. So yeah, what's on the bubble in Wokingham?
So we've just launched 2 4-bedroom detached family homes around the 650 mark. Both are gorgeous for different reasons, but ideal family homes. So just launched those 2. We're going out to take on a £1.2 million huge giant of a house tomorrow. Got 2-bed coming up in South Reading. So there's lots going on. So as always, follow our page if you want to find out more.
Day in the life of Matt. £1.2 million huge house, and then off to Reading, just helping everyone. You help everyone.
Yeah, I don't discriminate against properties.
I love that. Absolutely love that. Well, thank you for joining us Thursday, August the 10th at 6 o'clock. It's now about to hit 6:30. If we're not live, you're watching this, still ask us questions because we will answer them. Thanks for Neil for jumping on with his feedback and questions as well. And of course, a massive good luck and enjoy tomorrow, your launch day. It will be really quite spectacular. It always is when the video gets out there and the friends and family jump on and share it. So if you are shown as friends and family, make sure you jump in, share it, comment, put it everywhere. We'll obviously be doing the same as an Avocado family group as well. So yeah, good luck tomorrow. And Matt, enjoy your week with all of these properties in Wokingham as well.
Matt's on holiday, so it's just me holding down the fort. So
it's in safe hands.
Yeah.
Nice. Right, Mike and Gary behind you over your left shoulder. See you soon.